The twin suns of Valara Prime painted the royal city in golden light. Long towers shimmered like silver spears, and airships floated in calm patterns above the capital. It was a day of celebration and fear. 6 years ago, the Empire had lost its brightest star, Princess Larina Velis, the daughter of the Empress herself. Her ship had vanished near the outer colonies during a peace mission. Many had searched the void for her, but no one returned with answers. The people mourned her as gone forever. But on this day, the impossible happened. A lone cruiser appeared in orbit, marked with ancient royal symbols that no one had used for years. When the message came through the palace channels, the words made every officer freeze. "This is Princess Larina Velis. I am returning home." The Empress dropped the ceremonial crystal she was holding. The sound shattered through the throne room. For a long moment, even the air felt silent. Then the order rang through the palace. "Prepare the landing platform. My daughter returns." The massive gates of the Imperial docking bay opened, releasing waves of bright energy as the old royal ship descended. It was scarred, its surface covered in burns and dents. The ship looked like it had fought through fire and darkness. Crowds gathered beyond the safety fields, hoping to glimpse the long-lost princess. Guards in silver armor lined the path, their eyes fixed on the ramp as it slowly lowered with a hiss. Out stepped Princess Larina. She was taller than when she had left, her golden armor scratched and faded. Her long violet hair flowed behind her, streaked with silver from years away. But what shocked everyone most was not her face. It was what she carried in her arms. A small human child, pale-skinned, brown-haired, sleeping quietly against her shoulder. The entire dock fell silent. The Empress herself stepped forward, her gown made of starlight threads, her eyes sharp and searching. "Larina," she whispered. "My child, you live." Larina smiled softly, but her eyes were tired. "I live, mother, but not unchanged." She turned slightly, revealing the boy she carried. The Empress's expression darkened. The guards exchanged uneasy glances. "Who is that?" the Empress asked in a quiet, tense voice. "His name is Ethan," Larina replied. "He is from Earth, and he is under my protection." The word Earth spread through the hall like thunder. To the Velarans, Earth was a primitive world, a place of dust and oceans far below their reach. A human child in the arms of a royal was unthinkable. The Empress's voice grew harder. "You vanished for 6 years and return with this. What happened to you?" Larina lowered her eyes. "Many things, mother. But please, let us speak in private. There are truths I must share, but not here." The Empress hesitated. She wanted to embrace her daughter, to ask where she had been, what pain she had faced. But royal eyes were watching. Every council member, every guard, every noble was waiting for her reaction. With a controlled breath, the Empress nodded. "Very well. You may enter. But know this. You return to a world that no longer trusts so easily." Inside the grand halls of the palace, whispers followed them like shadows. Larina walked through familiar corridors, each one filled with memories of her youth. The boy in her arms stirred, blinking his bright blue eyes that glowed faintly, almost like the Valaran crystals that powered their cities. He looked around with innocent curiosity, unaware of the tension surrounding him. A maid whispered, "Is that truly a human?" Another replied, "Look at his eyes. No human shines like that." Larina ignored them all. She carried Ethan gently, as if afraid the world itself might try to take him away. They reached the private chamber. Once inside, guards sealed the doors behind them. Only Larina, her mother, and a few trusted advisors remained. The Empress moved closer. "Tell me everything, Larina. Where have you been? Why do you bring this child?" Larina took a deep breath. "Our mission failed. We were ambushed near the Vexar Nebula. My ship was destroyed, and I was stranded on an uncharted world. There, humans found me. They saved me when I was close to death." The Empress frowned. "Humans saved a Velaran? Impossible. Their technology is weak." "Maybe," Larina said softly. "But their hearts are not." She looked at Ethan, who now sat awake on her lap, quietly touching the glowing bracelet on her wrist. "I met a scientist named Dr. Carter. He cared for me even when he learned I was not one of his kind. When he died, he left me Ethan. He said the boy was special, that he must be protected at all costs." The Empress crossed her arms. "Special? In what way?" Larina hesitated. I don't yet understand it myself. But I've seen him do things no human or Velaran can. Machines obey his touch. Energy flows where he looks. I don't think he is just a human child. The advisors began whispering again. One said blasphemy. Another murmured hybrid. Impossible. Lorena rose to her feet. Believe what you want. But Ethan is under my care. Anyone who tries to harm him will answer to me. Her voice carried royal power, calm but unshakable. For the first time, even the Empress was silent. Later that evening, as the stars rose over Valara Prime, Lorena stood on her balcony. Ethan sat beside her, his small hands gripping the railing as he stared at the twin moons. Are those moons friends? He asked in a soft voice. Lorena smiled. In a way, yes. They travel together even through the darkness. Ethan nodded thoughtfully. Like us, her heart softened. She brushed his hair back and whispered, Yes, Ethan, like us. Far below, the city lights shimmered. But in the shadows of the lower districts, powerful figures were already meeting in secret rooms. The return of the princess had changed everything. Some saw hope. Others saw danger. In a dim council chamber, a tall figure in a black uniform looked out at the glowing palace. She brings a human child, he said coldly. The royal bloodline is tainted. We must act before she spreads her poison. The others nodded. Plans were already forming. Back in the palace, Lorena could not sleep. She sat by Ethan's bed, watching him breathe softly. She remembered her days on the human world. The simplicity, the kindness. The warmth of people who had no empire yet still found beauty in small things. Valara, for all its power, felt colder now. But Lorena was no longer the naive princess who had once left this world. She had seen the truth, and she had returned with it. She looked out the window at the stars and whispered to herself, If my people cannot see the worth of humanity, then I will show them. Outside, a storm brewed in the distance, silent lightning flashing between the moons. The Empire did not yet know it, but the return of one princess and one human child would soon change the fate of the galaxy. And as Ethan turned in his sleep, faint lights danced on his skin, gentle waves of energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. Lorena's eyes widened. She touched his hand, feeling the hum of power beneath his skin. What are you, little one? She whispered. The stars did not answer. But somewhere deep within the planet, old machines began to stir, as if the universe itself had heard her question. Morning light poured into the royal palace of Valara Prime, washing the silver walls with a gentle glow. Princess Lorena Vela stood by the window watching the rising suns. Her eyes were calm but thoughtful. The night had been long, filled with questions she could not answer. The human child Ethan still slept peacefully in her bed. His small hand glowed faintly with blue light, just as it had the night before. That strange energy made her uneasy, but it also filled her with wonder. She had seen him heal a broken circuit once without touching it, only looking at it. It was as if the machines listened to him. Now, as the city outside began to wake, she knew the Empire was already whispering about him. The royal news channels showed endless replays of her return. Across the screens, citizens debated what her arrival meant. The princess is alive, said one excited reporter. But she returned with a human child, another voice added carefully. The Empress has not yet commented on his identity. The people of Valara were proud of their bloodline. They believed they were the oldest intelligent species in the sector. To them, humans were young and unrefined, explorers who still stumbled through space like children learning to walk. So when they saw a human child being carried by their royal princess, confusion turned to fear. Some admired her courage. Others whispered that she had been changed, or worse, corrupted. Later that morning, Lorena walked with Ethan through the palace gardens. The boy's wide eyes followed every bright flower, every hovering bird. Your world is beautiful, he said softly. The air smells like metal and flowers, Lorena smiled. That's because the plants here grow with energy from our twin suns. They shine even at night. Ethan ran to a tall crystal tree. When he touched its trunk, it flickered with light. The leaves above turned bright blue. Lorena gasped. Normally the trees only glowed when the palace systems powered them, but Ethan's touch had awakened it. Ethan, how did you do that? She asked. He shrugged shyly. I don't know. It just feels alive, like it wants to talk. Lorena knelt beside him. You can feel it? He nodded. It's warm. It likes you too. Her heart tightened. He was different, in ways no scientist would ever understand. But peace did not last long. In the distance she saw Lord Varen, head of the Royal Science Council, walking toward them. His eyes were sharp, his expression polite but cold. "Your Highness," he said with a small bow, "the Council has requested that the human child be examined." Lorina's tone was firm. "He is not a specimen, Lord Varen. He is under royal protection." Varen's smile did not fade. "Of course, Princess. But we only wish to ensure the child poses no danger. The public is uneasy. A simple test would bring peace of mind." Lorina stepped between him and Ethan. "There will be no test." For a moment, Varen's polite face cracked, showing a flicker of frustration. Then he bowed again. "As you wish, Princess. But know this, if the Empress demands it, I will not be able to refuse her." As he walked away, Lorina's unease grew. She knew men like Varen. They hid behind kind words and used rules as weapons. She took Ethan's hand. "We should go back inside." The boy looked up at her. "Did I do something bad?" Lorina shook her head gently. "No, Ethan. You just did something they don't understand." Inside the palace, the Empress sat in her throne room surrounded by advisors. The air felt heavy with politics. When Lorina entered, conversation stopped. "Daughter," said the Empress, "we must speak of the child." Lorina stood tall. "If this is about testing him, my answer is the same. He stays with me." "This is not about your emotions," the Empress replied. "The Council fears what they cannot explain. You bring a mystery into the heart of the Empire. I cannot ignore their fears." "Then let them fear," Lorina said softly but firmly. "The boy is innocent." The Empress looked into her daughter's eyes and saw the same unbending spirit she herself had once carried. She sighed. "Very well. He stays, and for now. But you must keep him away from public sight until we understand more." Lorina bowed. "Thank you, Mother." As she turned to leave, one of the generals spoke. "If I may, Your Majesty. Reports say that some lower citizens have begun to worship the child as a symbol, a starborn messenger." The Empress frowned deeply. "Superstition, dangerous." Lorina said nothing, but inside her worry grew. The more people noticed Ethan, the more danger would follow. That night, when the palace lights dimmed, Lorina found Ethan sitting by the window. He looked small against the giant skyline. "Can we go home?" he asked quietly. Lorina sat beside him. "Earth is far away, Ethan, and your home—" "It no longer exists," he nodded sadly. "I remember fire, and people shouting. Then I woke up with you." Her heart ached. She touched his shoulder gently. "You are safe here. I promise." Suddenly, the palace alarm blared. A soft warning chime, not full alert, but enough to make her rise at once. A guard rushed in. "Princess." Unauthorized movement in the East Wing. "Security droids are responding." "Who?" Lorina asked sharply. "We don't know yet, Your Highness." She looked down at Ethan. "Stay here and don't move." But Ethan grabbed her hand. "No, please don't go." Something in his frightened voice made her pause. Then from down the hall came the echo of heavy footsteps. Not guards, but intruders. 3 black-armored figures entered the chamber, their faces hidden behind helmets. They moved with precision. "Get behind me," Lorina ordered. One of the intruders stepped forward. "Princess Lorina Velas, surrender the human child. He is property of the Council." Her eyes narrowed. "Property?" She drew her energy blade, its blue edge lighting the dark room. "You will leave now, or I will make you." The intruders raised their weapons, not to shoot but to stun. They wanted Ethan alive. Lorina fought fiercely. Her movements were swift and trained, but there were 3 of them. She blocked one strike, dodged another, and disarmed a third with a swift kick. Still, one intruder managed to grab Ethan. Ethan screamed. The lights in the room flickered, then shattered. Everything went dark except for the glow coming from Ethan's small hands. The machines in the intruders' suits froze. Their visors flickered wildly. Sparks flew. The men stumbled back, shouting in confusion. Lorina didn't waste a moment. She swung her blade once, cutting the power conduits near the wall. Energy surged, forcing the attackers to retreat. When silence returned, Ethan was shaking. Lorina rushed to him, kneeling. "It's okay," she whispered. "You did well." He looked up with tears in his eyes. "I didn't mean to hurt them." "You didn't," she said softly. "You just defended yourself." But inside, she knew what she had seen. Ethan had not only disabled the attackers, he had controlled the technology around them. Machines listened to him. Later, when the guards confirmed the intruders were gone, Lorena sat with her mother in private. The Empress's face was grave. "This is no longer a matter of curiosity," she said. "Someone in the council ordered that attack. They fear the boy and they want his power." Lorena nodded. "He is not a weapon, Mother. He is a child," the Empress sighed. "Perhaps. But power always attracts danger. You must protect him, even from those who wear our colors." Lorena looked out the window where the two moons shone side by side. "Then I will take him away from here, somewhere safe." Her mother's eyes softened. "Do what you must, my daughter. But remember, the Empire watches every step you take." That night, as Valara slept, Lorena packed a small travel case. Ethan stood beside her, holding his small wooden toy, the only thing he had from Earth. "Where are we going?" he asked. "Somewhere no one can find us," she said. "To a place where we can learn the truth about you." He nodded and took her hand. As they walked through the secret tunnels beneath the palace, the stars above shimmered faintly, as if watching their escape. And far away, deep within the Empire's data core, a hidden program activated. The face of Admiral Cale Vorn appeared on the screen. "The princess is running," he said with a cold smile. "Good, let her lead us to the boy's secret. Then we will take it for ourselves." The royal ship Starlight Dawn slipped quietly through the dark layers of space. Its engines hummed softly as it moved away from Valara Prime, vanishing into the black sea of stars. Inside the ship, Princess Lorena Velis sat beside Ethan, the human boy who had changed everything. They had left the capital secretly in the night. Only a few loyal crew members knew of their journey. The Empress had agreed to let them go, but she had warned that spies were everywhere. Ethan pressed his face to the window, eyes wide with wonder. "So many stars," he whispered. "Do they all have people?" Lorena smiled faintly. "Not all. Some worlds are silent. Some hold life. But every star has a story, just like every person." Ethan pointed at one glowing red star. "Does that one have a story too?" "Yes," she said softly. "That's Arkan. A long time ago, Velarans fought a terrible war there. We lost many lives, but from that war we learned peace." Ethan looked sad. "Wars make people forget how to be kind." His words were simple, yet they pierced her heart. How could a child understand what many rulers did not? As they traveled, the ship's crew treated Ethan kindly, but with cautious curiosity. Most had never seen a human before. A tall pilot named Wren smiled at the boy as he handed him a drink. "Here, little one. It's sweet water, made from moon fruits." Ethan sniffed it, then drank carefully. "It's good," he said, his face lighting up. Wren chuckled. "You're braver than most recruits, I'll give you that." Lorena watched from the side, smiling. But deep down she stayed alert. Every friendly face could hide danger. She had seen the fear in the council's eyes before leaving. They didn't just want to understand Ethan, they wanted to own him. Days passed as they crossed into the outer sectors of the Empire. The stars grew fewer and the darkness thicker. They were heading toward a forgotten moon known as Sarin 9, a place where few dared to go. Lorena believed answers waited there. It was near the region where she had once crashed 6 years ago, where she had met humans and where she had found Ethan. Late one night, while Ethan slept, Lorena studied old data logs from her lost ship. Broken messages, strange energy readings, and coordinates from that ancient ruin she had once discovered. Everything pointed to one truth. The boy's power was connected to something far older than either species. Her thoughts were interrupted by a quiet, "Alarm, Princess," said the ship's AI calmly. "We are being followed." Her heart tightened. "Identify." A holographic screen appeared. A small fast vessel was closing in, marked with the insignia of the Imperial Science Division. Lorena clenched her jaw. "Varin," she whispered. "He found us." Within minutes, the chase began. The Starlight Dawn twisted through asteroid fields, its engines burning bright. The smaller ship fired light pulses not to destroy but to disable. Wren shouted from the pilot's seat, "They're trying to take us alive." Lorena grabbed the intercom. "All power to shields. Do not return fire. We can't risk hurting them. Varin will use it as proof we're rebels." The ship shook violently as energy bolts struck the hull. Ethan woke, frightened. "Lorena, what's happening?" She knelt beside him, holding his shoulders. It's all right, Ethan, just stay close to me. But they're chasing us. She looked into his glowing blue eyes. Then we'll make them stop. Ethan nodded, his fear replaced by a strange calm. He closed his eyes, and a faint blue light began to shine from his hands. The ship's lights flickered, and suddenly every system came alive. Shields doubled in strength. Engines roared and sensors glowed brighter. Ren gasped. "What did he just do?" Lorena whispered. "He's helping us." The pursuing ship fired again, but this time, the energy bolts curved away, missing completely. Within moments, the Starlight Dawn leapt into hyperdrive and disappeared into the void. When the stars reappeared, they were safe, at least for now. Lorena found Ethan sitting quietly in the ship's garden chamber. He looked tired, his eyes dimmer than before. She knelt beside him. "You did something incredible, Ethan. You saved us." He shook his head. "I didn't mean to." The ship was scared. "I just wanted to make it stop shaking." Lorena smiled softly. "You didn't hurt anyone. You only protected us." He leaned against her arm. "I feel sleepy now." "Then rest," she said gently. "We have a long journey ahead." As he closed his eyes, Lorena looked up at the stars again. She now knew one thing for certain. Ethan's power was not just random energy. It was part of something ancient, something intelligent. Meanwhile, far away on Valara Prime, Admiral Kyle Vorn stood before a holographic map of the outer territories. His cold gray eyes studied the blinking signal that represented Lorena's ship. Lord Varen appeared beside him as a projection. "We lost them near the Saren system. The child's energy interfered with our trackers." Kyle's expression did not change. "Then we follow the energy trail. That boy is the key to ultimate control. Whoever commands him will control every machine in the Empire." Varen hesitated. "The Empress forbade direct pursuit." Kale turned toward him, his voice icy. "The Empress is old. The future belongs to those who act." He tapped a console, and a new fleet began preparing for launch. Back on the Starlight Dawn, Lorena's crew finally reached Saren 9. The moon floated like a dead world, its surface covered in silver dust, but strange lights shimmered beneath the crust, pulsing like a heartbeat. "This is it," Lorena said quietly. "The place where it all began." Ethan held her hand tightly. "It feels familiar." They stepped out of the ship wearing light armor suits. The air was thin but breathable. The ruins of an ancient structure rose from the ground, smooth dark stone with glowing blue veins. Lorena touched the surface and the stone rippled under her hand like water. "It's still alive," she whispered. Ethan's eyes widened. "It's talking." She turned to him. "What do you mean?" He pointed at the glowing walls. "It says, 'Welcome back.'" The walls pulsed brighter. A deep hum filled the air and symbols appeared on the ground beneath their feet. Lorena's heart raced. The last time she had been here, she'd only seen fragments. But now the structure was waking fully because of Ethan. A holographic figure appeared before them. It was tall, with features that looked both human and Valaran. Its voice echoed like wind in a tunnel. "The bloodlines have met again," it said. "The circle is complete." Lorena's voice trembled. "Who are you?" "We are the architects," the figure replied. "The first travelers between stars. We seeded your worlds long ago. You and the humans are our children." Ethan stared in awe. "You made us?" "Yes," the voice said gently. "But time divided you. One forgot the other." "Until now." Lorena took a step forward. "Why him?" "Why Ethan? He carries the combined code of both species," the voice said. "He is proof that unity brings power, not weakness. Through him, the old network awakens." Before Lorena could speak, the ground shook violently. The hologram flickered. Ren's voice screamed over the comlink. "Princess!" "Enemy fleet incoming!" "They found us." Lorena grabbed Ethan's hand. "We have to go." But Ethan stopped. "No, I can feel them. The bad people. They want to break this place." He closed his eyes again. The ruins around them began to glow and blue energy rose like waves. Lorena shielded her eyes. "Ethan, wait, what are you doing?" "I'm asking it to help us," he whispered. The ancient structure responded. Massive walls of light surrounded them, forming a barrier around the temple. The first blast from Kale's fleet struck moments later, but the energy shield held. Inside, Lorena could hear the voice of the architects again, softer now. "Protect him, child of Valara. The unity must survive." And then silence. As the dust settled, Lorena looked down at Ethan. His light had faded again and he was barely conscious. She held him tightly, whispering, "You did well, my brave one." Outside the barrier, Kale's ships surrounded the moon like dark predators. In his command chair, Kale smiled coldly. "You can hide for now, princess, but I will have the boy, and when I do, the galaxy will kneel." Inside the glowing ruins, Lorena whispered a vow, "Not while I live." She looked up at the stars above, feeling the eyes of both Valarans and humans watching from afar. The coming battle would decide more than her life. It would decide the future of two species, and the shadow of the Empire had only just begun to fall. The air on the forgotten moon was thin and cold, filled with silver dust that glittered under the twin suns. The ground cracked beneath Princess Lorena's boots as she led Ethan toward the ancient ruins. It was a place she remembered only from her dreams. Giant towers made of strange crystal, half buried in sand, glowing faintly with blue light. Ethan walked beside her, holding her hand. His eyes shimmered with that same blue light, as if something deep inside him was responding to the ruins. "Are you sure this is the place, Mother?" he asked softly. Lorena nodded. "Yes, Ethan, this is where it all began." Behind them, the small scout ship waited hidden among the rocks. They had escaped Admiral Kale's fleet just in time. Lorena knew he wouldn't stop hunting them. He wanted Ethan, not as a child, but as a weapon. But here, on this ancient moon, she hoped to find answers. The truth about Ethan's power, the truth about their connection. They entered a large gateway carved with symbols neither of them had seen before. The air inside was warm and filled with faint humming, like a heartbeat echoing through the stone. The walls were covered with glowing lines, and when Ethan touched one, it came alive. The light spread through the entire chamber, revealing massive murals that had been hidden in the shadows. The paintings showed tall, elegant beings. Some looked like Valarans, others like humans, and some like a mixture of both. They stood together under the same sky, surrounded by stars. Lorena's eyes widened. These look like both our people." Ethan tilted his head. "So humans and Valarans knew each other before?" She shook her head slowly. "No, at least that's what our history says, but this is older than any record I know." At the center of the chamber stood a crystal pedestal. As they approached, it began to glow brighter. Lorena could feel her heart beating faster, and Ethan's hand grew warm in hers. Suddenly a voice filled the room. Not through sound, but directly into their minds. "Welcome, children of the stars. The time has come for the truth to be known." Lorena stepped back, startled. "Who said that?" The voice replied calmly, almost kindly. "I am the Guardian. This place was built by those who came before you, your ancestors, the Starborn. Long ago, your kind were one people, but they were divided by time, distance, and pride." Ethan looked up at the ceiling, eyes wide. "So humans and Valarans are family?" "Yes," the Guardian said. "Two branches of the same tree. When the old civilization fell, one group returned to Earth. The other built the Velaran Empire, but both carried the same spark of creation." Lorena felt dizzy. Her entire understanding of history was crumbling before her. "Why was this hidden from us?" she whispered. The voice grew softer, almost sad. "Because power and fear blinded your leaders. The truth was buried, and war replaced unity. But the balance has returned through the child." Ethan stepped closer to the pedestal, his small hand reaching out. The crystal responded, swirling with blue and gold light. Streams of images appeared around him. Humans and Valarans together, building cities, exploring stars, sharing knowledge. Then came the destruction. Wars, pride, and isolation. The images showed Valarans turning away from their human cousins, choosing technology over compassion. Earth's people, meanwhile, forgot the stars. Ethan's voice trembled. "Can we fix it?" "You can," the Guardian replied. "You carry both heritages, the human heart and the Valaran light. You are the bridge between worlds." Lorena fell to her knees, overcome with emotion. Everything she had fought for, the Empire, her exile, Ethan's safety, it all made sense now. He was never just a human child. He was the living connection between two species. But before she could speak, the ground trembled violently. The entire chamber shook and alarms echoed through the walls. Outside, the sky flashed red. Lorena's communicator blinked to life. Her pilot's voice came through, panicked. "Your Highness, Admiral Kell's fleet just arrived in orbit. They're scanning the surface." "We need to leave now." Lorena's blood ran cold. "How did he find us so fast?" "Unknown. But they're deploying ground troops. She looked at Ethan. His eyes were filled with both fear and determination. "We can't run forever," he said quietly. Lorena nodded, taking a deep breath. "Then we stand here. But not as enemies, this time we use the truth." She turned back to the pedestal. "Guardian, can you help us?" "Yes," the voice answered. "The ancient network still sleeps beneath the surface. The child can awaken it." Ethan stepped forward again. The crystal pulsed brighter than before. Lines of light spread across the ground, connecting to other ruins hidden beneath the sand. A deep hum filled the air, growing louder until the entire moon seemed alive. Outside, Kale's ships fired energy blasts toward the surface, but the ruins reacted, forming a shimmering blue barrier that deflected the attacks. The soldiers who landed found their weapons unresponsive, their machines shutting down. Kyle, aboard his flagship, slammed his fist on the console. "What is this sorcery?" he shouted. "Find them!" Inside the ruins, Ethan was surrounded by a sphere of light. Lorena shielded her eyes as the brightness grew. The Guardian's voice echoed again. "He has awakened the heart of the ancients. Their power flows through him not as a weapon but as harmony." Images of stars and galaxies filled the air. Ethan floated gently above the ground, eyes glowing bright blue. His voice was soft but strong. "We don't need to fight, Admiral. This power isn't meant to destroy. It's meant to unite." Kale's image appeared on the holographic screen, furious. "Unite with them? They're inferior!" Ethan looked at him sadly. "You're wrong. Humans and Velerans are both part of something greater. The ancients wanted peace, not pride." Kale laughed coldly. "Then let's see your peace stop my fleet." He gave the command to fire all weapons, but as the ships launched their missiles, every one of them froze mid-air. Their engines shut down, their lights went dark. Then gently they turned back, harmlessly drifting away into space. Kyle's crew stared in disbelief. "Admiral, our systems are not responding. The ships are surrendering control to something." Ethan landed back on the ground, the light fading from his body. "It's over," he said softly. "No more fighting." Lorena ran to him and hugged him tightly. Tears filled her eyes, not from fear but from relief. "You did it, my son," she whispered. "You've done what no one else could." The Guardian's final words filled the room. "The truth has awakened. The path of unity has begun. But remember, peace is not a gift. It is a choice you must make every day." The crystal dimmed and the chamber fell silent. The war was over before it began. As the ruins settled back into calm light, Lorena looked out at the horizon. The ancient moon had kept its secret for thousands of years, waiting for this moment. Now it had finally revealed the truth. Ethan took her hand. "What will we do now?" She smiled gently. "We'll go home, Ethan. We'll show them the truth. And maybe, this time they'll listen." Above them, the twin suns rose higher, casting light across the ancient stone. For the first time, Lorena felt hope. Not just for her world, but for both worlds. The twin suns rose over Valara Prime, casting long shadows across the palace towers. For the first time in years, the capital felt quiet, almost peaceful. But Princess Lorena Velis knew it was only the calm before the storm. Admiral Kale Vorn was still out there plotting, and the galaxy had yet to fully accept the truth about Ethan, the human child who had awakened the ancient power. Lorena held Ethan's hand tightly as they stood on the balcony of the Empress's tower. The boy's blue eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the morning light. He had grown quieter in recent days, thoughtful, almost solemn. "Do you think they'll ever accept me?" Ethan asked softly. Lorena knelt beside him. "Not everyone will, Ethan, but the important ones will. The ones who see hearts, not just blood." Ethan nodded, gripping her hand. "I just want to help." "And you will," she said. "We'll show them a future where humans and Valarans can stand together, not apart." Inside the throne room, the Empress sat tall, surrounded by her council. Many were still wary of Ethan, whispering about his strange abilities. But others had seen the power of the ancient network. They had witnessed how he had protected Valara without destruction, how the energy of the ruins had disabled Kale's fleet. "The boy is extraordinary," one advisor said. "Yes," another added. "But can we trust him?" The Empress's gaze softened. "We do not choose our children by what we understand, but by what they bring into the world. He is Lorena's choice, and he has proven his heart." Lorena entered, carrying Ethan carefully. She stood before the council, feeling the weight of centuries of tradition on her shoulders. "Ethan is not a threat," she said firmly. He is proof that our two peoples can unite. He is proof that we are stronger together than apart. Whispers ran through the council. Some nodded slowly, finally seeing the truth. Others still frowned, unable to let go of old pride. Outside in the Imperial Plaza, citizens had begun gathering. They had heard of the child's return, of his courage, and of the miracle at Sarin 9. Families looked up at the palace towers, children holding small glowing lanterns in hope. A young Valaran woman stepped forward and spoke to the crowd. We have feared the unknown for too long. Today we see that the unknown may be our ally. Murmurs of agreement spread through the crowd. The Empire was beginning to open its eyes. Lorena raised her hand, motioning for silence. People of Valara, she said, her voice carrying over the plaza. For too long, we have believed that our strength lies only in ourselves. But today we see that our true strength lies in unity, in trust, in friendship with those we once thought far below us. Let this child, Ethan, be the symbol of a new future, where humans and Valarans can stand as one. The crowd erupted in cheers. Lanterns floated into the sky, reflecting in the twin suns above, as if the universe itself was celebrating. Meanwhile, high above Valara, Admiral Cale Vorn watched from his flagship. His face was dark with anger. They think this changes anything, he muttered. They think the boy can save them, but power like his is dangerous, and it belongs to me. He tapped the console, preparing his fleet. But before he could move, his systems began to flicker. Lights died, weapons shut down, and ships froze mid-flight. Cale's crew stared in disbelief. Sir, the systems... They won't respond. Impossible, Cale growled. The blue light of Ethan's energy spread silently across the fleet. It reached every vessel, not as destruction but as command. Machines obeyed the child, not out of fear but out of harmony. Cale clenched his fists. The boy controls everything. Lorena appeared on the palace balcony, calling out into the sky. Cale Vorn, stop this madness. Power is not to control others. It is to protect life. The Admiral's ship shuddered under the invisible force. His weapons refused to fire. The fleet backed away, retreating into the darkness of space. For the first time, Cale realized that strength without heart was meaningless. In the days that followed, Lorena and Ethan visited the people of Valara. They traveled through cities, speaking to crowds, meeting families, and showing how humans and Valarans could share knowledge and culture. Ethan amazed everyone with his curiosity and kindness. He helped rebuild damaged machines simply by touching them. He comforted frightened children. And everywhere he went, the ancient energy hummed softly, reminding all who watched that power could be gentle. One day, in the marketplace of the capital, a small Valaran girl approached him. Are you really human? She asked shyly. Ethan smiled. Yes, but I'm also Velaran now. Just like you. The girl's mother nodded. If he can be like us, maybe we can learn to be like him. Lorena stood on a hill overlooking the city one evening. The twin moons rose above the horizon, casting silver light over the streets. Ethan played nearby, his laughter filling the air. She whispered softly, more to herself than anyone else. This is why I returned. Not to rule, not to fight, but to show them that even the smallest life can change the galaxy. Ethan came running to her, holding a small glowing stone he had found in the marketplace. Look, it's like the moon. She smiled, taking his hand. Yes, Ethan, just like the moon. And like you, it shines for everyone. Months passed. The Empire slowly embraced change. Humans were welcomed as partners, not subjects. Trade routes opened to Earth. Scientists of both species shared discoveries. Children studied together, learning both languages, both arts, and both histories. Even those who had doubted Ethan could not deny the miracle he represented. Not because of his powers, but because of his heart. The Empress herself watched Lorena and Ethan from her tower one afternoon. She spoke quietly to her advisors. The child is more than I imagined. His presence has healed old divisions. Perhaps this is what we needed all along. Lorena passed by the balcony below, Ethan skipping beside her. The Empress waved and Lorena waved back. A smile crossed her mother's face, a rare moment of peace in centuries of rule. Far in the outer sector, Cale Vorn's fleet lay in disarray. He sat in silence aboard his flagship, contemplating defeat. For the first time, he understood something vital. Power alone could never command loyalty or trust. Only unity, compassion, and courage could achieve that. He clenched his fist. The boy! He has changed the galaxy. And deep down he knew he could never take that away. Years later, when Ethan had grown into a young leader, he stood on a balcony with Larina beside him. Valara Prime stretched below, a city of light, hope, and life. Humans and Velerans walked side by side, building a shared future. Ethan looked at the twin moons and smiled. Do you think other worlds will come next? Larina rested her hand on his shoulder. I believe they will. And one day all the stars will know peace because someone chose unity instead of division. He nodded. I'm glad I'm here. Larina smiled, her eyes bright. And so are we all, Ethan. So are we all. Above them, the twin suns shone on a world reborn. The galaxy, once fractured by fear and pride, now had a path forward. The light of humanity and the light of Valara shone together, guiding the stars toward a future of hope, courage, and unity. And for the first time in generations, the people of two worlds truly understood what it meant to be strong. Not through power or conquest, but through the light of the heart, the end.